guys, welcome back. Today is day 22 in the book What If God Wrote Your Bucket List by Jay Payleitner. The title of today's study is Take Note of Any Quick Fix.
And we have pre-read this, and this did not really go where I thought it was going to go.
No.
So if you guys haven't been with us for one of these studies, we just read the chapter, which is usually just a couple pages, and just talk about whatever he talks about. This is like the author's idea of what God would have us to do if he wrote our bucket list for us. So we are going to read, and I'm going to start out this week. Every spring, the school secretary would call my classmate Marlene and me out of class and march us down the teacher's lounge for speech testing. Marlene had a lisp of sorts, and I couldn't say my R's. The state-mandated speech therapist would flip through some illustrated flashcards, and I would dutifully say Wooster and Bon instead of Rooster and Barn. As though she were learning something new, the speech expert would make lengthy notes on her clipboard before Marlene and I were escorted back to class. 1 month later, the report would come back with the not-so-surprising news. Jay has difficulty saying words containing the letter R. To me, the annual review of my obvious flaw was a little humiliating and clearly unproductive. When I was 12, my family moved to a neighboring town, and I started at a new school. Once again, I went to speech room. I need to go to speech room. Once again, I went to a special room for speech testing, dutifully identifying similar flashcards, and then hustled back to class. But someone in some office in some faraway building decided to take an additional step. Within a week, I began to meet with a therapist. In our very first session, she taught me to move my tongue back against the roof of my mouth when talking about roosters, rabbits, barns, and horses. Problem solved. We kept meeting once a week for a couple months so I could practice, but really, the fix was instantaneous. I remember becoming more and more self-conscious about my speech impediment. When you're in kindergarten or younger, a slight lisp or a sloppy pronunciation might be considered cute. But as you approach middle school, the inability to speak clearly with your peers can shatter your confidence. No preteen wants to be saying biscotti or birthday. It sounds so silly to say that.
And it didn't sound silly.
We can't speak.
It didn't sound silly to say biscotti.
Biscotti. Well, I've said that before. It wasn't until decades later that I realized how important it was that my dysfunction had been identified and remedied. Today, I regularly do radio and TV interviews, speak in front of thousands of people, and even record voiceover narrations and audiobooks. The ability to accurately pronounce words with R's is a necessary skill. And I can't help but wonder how my life would have been different without that quick fix when I was in 7th grade. I also can't help but wonder how many other very real shortcomings in our lives God has alleviated with minimum fuss, opening the door for us to better serve Him.
It's absolutely true that God allows hardships and crises. Allows hardships and crises in our life to purify us, prepare us for battle, and confirm our dependence on Him. But that's an entirely different topic. This chapter flips the idea upside down by asking what obstacles has God already removed from your life so you can forge ahead and do great things. Have you endured a disease or affliction that is now quite treatable but would have severely limited your abilities had you been born a few decades earlier? Did a mentor, teacher, pastor, or hobbyist just happen to enter your life at just the right moment, helping you discover a hidden talent that would otherwise have been untapped? Were you painfully shy until someone in authority forced you out of your comfort zone so you could discover you had a voice and something worth saying? Did you go to the doctor for a minor ailment and just by sheer luck uncover another much more severe medical problem that was successfully treated only because you caught it in the early stages? Maybe every member of your family for generations had to overcome a burden, but circumstances have changed and now you don't have to. Maybe you're first in your family who learned to read. Maybe you're the first generation to live in a country where you're free to be anything you want to be. Maybe your hardworking parents lifted your family out of poverty and suddenly you don't have to worry about your next meal. Maybe you were exposed to the Bible at an early age and did not have to unlearn the baggage of religions that worship false gods or overlook the power of grace. Please don't take any of this for granted. If you were on the receiving end of walls that came down quickly, you may be well prepared to step out and answer God's call sooner than most. Oh, to be sure, there will be walls you will need to bash through, but take a moment now to assess any area you have mastered because of a quick fix. You might be surprised to find those exact skills and capabilities are desperately needed for a project that's right in front of you or right around the corner. I haven't seen Marlene in more than 4 decades. I hope she also found a quick and easy fix and is using her gifts to serve others.
Okay, and then on the bottom he has checking the list. He has this in every one. It's kind of like just trying to drive home his point. It says, one of the most important questions we can ask is, what has God done in my life and how can I give that back to him? 1 Peter 4:10 confirms, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace. For me, I think what he's trying to say is that anything and everything that we have, whether it be a fix to a bad situation or just a gift that God has given us, something that we possess that we can use to serve others, that we should make sure that we're using those gifts to point to him.
So his main point, he has a little check mark, and his main point says, identify your gifts and sharpen your skills.
So figure out what your niche is for serving God and serving others, and do that to the best of your ability.
So that's all for this study, and if you guys enjoy the Wednesday studies that are from this book, join us again next week, and be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell if you want to be notified when we upload.
Yeah, and next week's title is Kill 'Em.
With kindness.
We hope you guys have a good day. We hope you have a good week, and we hope to see you in the next one.
Bye.